Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Manchester United 3, Racing Lens 1. And it was really a game of two halves in some ways. And I'm not going to lie and say that, but I'm going to say that first half had me a lot worried because it was a recurring theme of what Manchester United's preseason has been all about. Sloppy mistake that leads to a goal, completely anemic in front of the opposition goal. And it just looked like they just looked toothless. And a lot of people say, well, they didn't play that badly. They played well. They were unlucky. But I always say this: playing well is great, for moral victories and all that. But ultimately, it counts for nothing because if you lose a game, you lose the game. You're gonna get points for playing well. You get points for winning. And saw them put in that first half performance. I thought, yeah, you can maybe win on points, but in football, you don't win on points. You win on goals. The goal itself that Lens scored, I thought was in some ways is what we might see a lot of this season, because not the first part. The error from Dalot is really unforgivable. It was a very bad giveaway for him to be under no pressure whatsoever. It's just casual. It was more like, it was almost like, I can't see a front here. It was a casual pass. It was a very casual pass, and that's not good from him. And he does have that issue in his game, where at times he will make casual passes. He will give the ball away, not in dangerous areas, but usually just in forward areas. But he just seems like that, and that's one of the reasons why Wan-Bissaka has kind of overtaken him. Although maybe he will start the game against Wolves if he started today. But there's a reason why Wan-Bissaka overtook him last season, is because he's a bit casual. He still hasn't put his entire game. He's got the tools. He just hasn't been able to put it all together and consistently enough. And that's a bad giveaway. And a lot of people might blame Onana for that goal, but I wouldn't. Now, the only thing I will say is that Onana was slightly slow, and I did notice that throughout the game. I think his reactions are slightly slow, not as fast as David De Gea is in his prime, and that might be something. But even with fast reactions, I think he probably would not have got there, because what he is doing is he's staying, close to the halfway, close to the goal line. That's his position. That's going to be his natural position. Because the ball is with Manchester United. You don't expect a defender to make an error. At least you don't want your defender to make an error, and be prepared for that. So he's there in case the defender wants to make a pass back to him. He's giving that option by staying at that line. Because Dalot has given the ball away in a very casual position, Onana has no time to really adjust, and so he's kind of caught in no man's land. And it's a good finish from Sotoca, and it makes it 1-0. And for me, that we might see a goal like that quite often, where people will try to chip him. The opposition strikers or goal scorers will try to chip him. Bellingham tried to do that as well. You will get that because his positioning is so high up the field compared to David De Gea, that he will often be off his line, and therefore players will try to do that. Chips don't always come off, and that's one thing that I would say, that they don't always come off, and so that is what you take. It's a percentages game at the end of the day with Onana, but I wouldn't blame him for that goal. It wasn't his fault, because the goal, it wasn't like the opposition had the ball and they're running towards goal, and Onana's kind of like, what do I do? It was more a case of United had the ball and Dalot gave it away. That being said, the other part of it, which was bad, was the goal. Was the other side of the goal. I mean, again, United looked so poor in front of goal in the first half. And Mount should have scored. Mason Mount should have scored. I'll talk about Mason Mount's performance later, but I thought he should have scored that goal. Where Garnacho does quite well, actually. The pass from Bruno is exquisite. It's a brilliant pass. I don't know how he's put it up, but he pulled up a brilliant pass. And I thought Garnacho kind of made a little bit of a mess of it with his touch, because couldn't quite get it out of his feet quick enough. Because if he would have had the opportunity to score. He wouldn't need to square it to Mount, but because he has no other option, so he squares it to Mount, and unfortunately Mount just scuffs it for whatever reason. He can't get a clean connection on it, and it was poor from Mount, because you get a goal, you get your confidence, and then you start to play better. But I think he needs a goal. I think he needs something. He needs some kind of contribution. And he had a good chance to do it, then he couldn't. So that was bad. And after that goal went in from Lens, I just thought United went flat in that first half. Just the performance, the energy from the crowd was sucked out. It felt like it. The players looked like they were listless a bit. They didn't look that good after that goal went in from Lens. And I kind of worried, like, not in terms of this game, but I kind of worried, like, is that what we're going to see in United? Do they have the mentality to come back into games? Because United have a big problem with that. When they go behind, they can't seem to win games. So, will that happen again? Will they just, fritter away, just, limply, go into, a loss or maybe a draw, whatever. But, and yes, United played, they created chances in the first half, but you're playing against a mid-table French side. You're not Liga side, you expect to create chances. You're not going to go into a game like that. You're not. If you don't create chances, I'd be very, very worried. So they're going to create chances. The worrying part was they were not able to create clear-cut chances, and even when they did, they were not able to take them. So that was the issue for me. And then suddenly the second half, everything turned. It just turned like, I don't know what Ten Hag told them. I don't know what he changed. I don't think there was any obvious tactical change, but just something turned in the players. There was just more intensity. The first goal comes a very good pass to Rashford, and I guess Rashford gets a bit lucky because it's a deflection that takes it into the goal. I don't know if it would have gone into the goal if the deflection wasn't there. It helped him along the way, but sometimes as a striker you need that, and if Rashford is going to play as a striker, he's going to need a lot of luck to score goals. So he got that bit of luck there, and it's 1-1. And then from there, United never let the advantage go, and then they got that second. It was great play from Garnacho, brilliant from him, by the way. He was excellent, and he it's a nice pass that he makes to Antony this time. And when Antony took that touch, the pass from Garnacho was great. The touch that Antony took, I thought, and I think a lot of people said, "Oh my God, what has he done? He's missed it. He's completely, fluffed it again. Like, he's got a brilliant pass from Garnacho. He's fluffed it, but actually he does very well on that second touch. That second touch to score is very good. And what it shows is that Antony has got a deft touch when he can be bothered about it. He's got a deft touch. Even the pass for Rashford for the goal was very, very good from him. So he's got a deft touch. The only problem is he can't do it consistently enough, or he doesn't want to do it consistently enough. And I think that is the area of his game that he needs to improve, because he has finesse. He's got skill. He just doesn't, for some reason, he just doesn't trust himself, or he just doesn't use it enough. But that was the second touch was really good to put in the goal. It was very, very beautiful. But that first touch had me, going like, oh my God, what the hell have we done? So I'm sure a lot of other people thought that as well. But it's 2-1, and then soon after that becomes 3-1. Again, Garnacho winning the foul, gets a free kick, and for once United actually make a free kick count because Shaw puts in a beautiful cross, and the Rashford off Casemiro goes in, so Casemiro gets a goal as well. It's 3-1. And after that, kind of, United just saw the game out. There were a few chances for Lens, which again will be a bit worrying from Ten Hag's point of view, because you don't want to give any team an opportunity to get back into the game. And they gave them quite a few. Onana had to make a save. There were a couple of other. There was a beautiful save that he made as well. Again, he was caught off his line, and that was the part where I thought his reactions are not the fastest, because again, he was a little bit slow to react to, and again there was a deflection, so you can kind of understand it, but I still felt that he was slightly slow. It's only a millisecond or two, and that's all the difference that it makes. So you don't notice it if you don't really watch it carefully. It was a millisecond or two. It's not like he's Maguire slow, but he is slightly slower than David De Gea would be for to react to those shots in his point. But but he still made the save. It's a good save that he made, and it kept it 3-1, and United picked up the win. So, but like I said, it's preseason, results don't matter. It's the performances that matter, and I wasn't very happy with the performance in the first half. I was very much pleased. It was much better in the second half. The fitness levels are up. A lot of players played 90 minutes, which they would need because they're going to go into the game into the season next week, and that is going to be absolutely crucial to get for those players to get that fitness levels up. In terms of individual performances, I thought Alejandro Garnacho was man of the match for me. I was debating it should be Garnacho, should be Casemiro, because both of them had very good games. I'll give to Garnacho because Garnacho was just, he's younger, he's more, he looked more energetic at times. In that forward line, he was the lone man army, because even that first half, the whole, you could say there were a lot of players who had poor performances in the first half. Garnacho wasn't one of them. He was absolutely excellent, and I thought he was brilliant. And for that reason, I think he deserves a man of the match, because as good as Casemiro was, and he was brilliant in the first half as well, he was making a lot of tackles, some good passes. I feel Garnacho, because of being the lone one-man army, I thought he deserves to be man of the match, and he was excellent for me. I thought he played really well. And now it's a headache for Ten Hag, because if he's got Sancho, obviously between Sancho and Garnacho starts, there's no issue. But when Højlund is up and running, who comes out? Who comes out of that front three? Because you can't take Garnacho out, can you? But then what the good and interesting part here is that Højlund is actually going to take a few weeks to be fit, because he's got a minor injury, and then he's got to go through his own preseason. So I don't think we'll see the best of Højlund until next year. Until January. I don't think we'll even see the best of him. So there's time for Garnacho to make that spot his own. There's time for Rashford, Antony, all of them to gel together. So that would be something to watch out for. But nonetheless, I thought Garnacho was excellent. Bruno was brilliant as well when he played on the center. Again, I think Ten Hag kind of experimented a bit, playing him as a left winger and that. Or maybe that was just a temporary position, but he shouldn't be playing on the wing. He should be playing as a midfielder. That is as a number 10. That is his best position. And when he plays there, he just looks brilliant. The free role, do whatever you want. He should be getting more assists, more goals. not goals, no assists, but unfortunately he has players in front of him who can't really finish chances. But he deserves more plaudits. He's a fantastic game. He had a fantastic game today. Casemiro I thought was excellent as well. Varane and Martinez were good as well. Shaw was poor in the first half, looked good in the second half. Dalot recovered well in the second half. After that horrific error for the goal, it was the end. He looked quite good. I still feel that that right back area is not yet settled. Like, we don't know if it's going to be Wan-Bissaka. We don't know if it's going to be Dalot. Both of them have obvious weaknesses to their game, and that is not the best thing that you want for Manchester United. So I think that right back spot is still up for grabs, unlike some of the other positions on the pitch. And I mean, Antony again very poor in the first half, but got his goal and got a goal and assist in the second half, which is will make him feel better. Same for Rashford, got a goal and an assist in the second half after having a very poor first half. I still don't think he works as a striker. He just looks a bit lost when they, and I think it makes United one-dimensional when they try to play to his strengths as a striker. They become one-dimensional. I think what United need to do, and this is what they did in the second half, where they play the natural game, and Rashford's got to adapt to that game rather than the team adapting to Rashford. I think that's got to happen. But can Rashford adapt his game to fit what the team needs? I don't know that answer. I honestly don't know. I can't say yes and I can't say no. But that is an area of potential weakness in the front line that other teams could exploit. Because Rashford, does make the team one-dimensional at times. And that brings me to the biggest talking point, which is Mason Mount. And I will talk about Mason Mount because the reality is he had a good chance to score. And if he had scored that goal, maybe people would have been talking differently about him for this game. But that miss actually accentuates the problem that his game has. And for me, when I watched that first half, now I'll be a little bit generous by saying the second half, everybody looked good. So it's very hard to make a judgment on Mason Mount because it wasn't that he was spectacular in the second half, but he was better because I think the team was better. But in the first half, he looked very, very average. And I feel that for me, when I was watching him, I thought, have we signed the English Park Ji-sung? Now, Ji-sung Park is a legend for Manchester United, but he was signed for £5 million. He wasn't a £50 million player. He was a £5 million player. Mason Mount is a £55 million player. Is he a £55 million player? He's not. He's clearly not. They've clearly overpaid for him. I do feel that his biggest attribute is that he runs around a lot, and he's very good at running around, and and he can press as well. He can press. At times, in the first half, Lons were beating the press though. So how good is he really in that press is debatable. And does he work alongside Bruno? I think it's a bit redundant because Bruno gets you the passing and he can do the running around himself. So if you're adding another player just to run around more, it really doesn't make sense. And I do feel for Mount because I think he has never really had a defined role at Chelsea. He never had a defined role, and so he's struggling to find himself at Manchester United, and in a team that's going to be under a lot of pressure this season. It's going to create more pressure for him as well. I do feel that if he keeps this level of performance up, I think his ceiling is going to be coming on for the last 20 minutes, playing on the right wing, left wing, and just seeing a game out. I think that will be his ceiling because at the moment I've seen nothing from him for me to suggest that he's going to be a starter. And if Amrabat does come to Manchester United, and if Amrabat is the player that everybody says that he is, then I can't see Mount starting over him. And which then begs the question, what exactly is his role, right, in the side? So for me, I think he's been the biggest disappointment of preseason for me. Because he can obviously mitigating things about the others. But for Mount, I think he's played every game in preseason, aside from the Wrexham game, which is whatever, but he has never really looked like a player he's never really looked like the player that United was supposed to be getting. So for me, that is a big issue. And I don't know how Ten Hag resolves that, but that for me is one that will be one to watch for the season, because I like I said before, I have strong feelings that he's going to be a flop this season. I think I said that in the last game in the match reaction. I said I think he's going to be a flop this season because the price tag is ridiculous for a player who's not really good, who's not particularly world class at any one thing. That's the problem with Mason Mount. He's not particularly world class at any one thing. He's just very good at good or very good at a few things, but he's not world class at anything. And those kind of players just don't. They become utility players. Eventually, they end up becoming utility players, and that just it works for a while. It doesn't work. So we'll see what happens. But I just wasn't happy with this performance again today, which has been a consistent theme throughout the preseason. Anyway, 3-1 win though for United. I mean, they needed it after a couple of losses to Madrid and Dortmund. Particularly the way that they lost those two games would have been very, very disappointing. So to pick up a win is good. There's still issues to work out. Will Ten Hag be able to work them out before Wolves? we'll have to wait and watch. Of course, they've got a game against Bilbao tomorrow, which I will be reacting to. I'm not going to watch the community. So anybody who's wondering, I'm not going to watch the Community Shield game because I don't want to see Manchester. I'm tired of seeing Manchester City. I'm not going to waste time watching Manchester City lift on that trophy when United are playing at the same time, because I'm going to watch United. So anyway, share your thoughts on the game. What do you think of the performances? What do you think of the the result, the gameplay? I'm sorry that any Lens fans watching this. I'm not able to do a lot of work because I'm not really following Lens. It's very hard for me to kind of wrap my head around what their goals might be for the season and what this performance means for them. So apologies for that, but you can let me know what you thought of the game. Of course, I would love to hear your comments. Do smash a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll be back again with more stuff later, so subscribe and stay notified. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.